There's a guy in Ohio with 3 machines sitting inside a gas station and a laundromat right now. Every single one of them is making him money while he sleeps, while he's at work, while he's just living a normal life. He didn't take a loan. He didn't quit his job. He didn't get lucky. He just bought a machine most people have never even heard of, and now that machine pays him every single week without him standing behind a counter. I spent months digging through small business forums, import catalogs, and real interviews with people actually running these setups. And I found 14 machines that normal people are using right now to build extra income. Some of these are so simple, you're going to wonder why you never thought of it yourself. Others are going to surprise you completely, but stay with me, because the very last one on this list is the one almost nobody talks about, and it might be the smartest one here. If you're new to this channel, we break down how regular people build real money without connections, without rich parents, and without luck. Let's get into it. First up, food and drinks. This is the easiest place to start because people are already buying food and drinks every single day. You just have to be the one standing there when they do, and none of these require a storefront or a lease. Number one is a small, soft-serve machine, the kind made for carts, not restaurants. It costs between $600 and $2,000 depending on how much it can hold and how fast it runs. It works off a normal outlet or a small generator, so you're not locked into one location like a shop would be. Here's how people actually start this. They pick one place, a weekend soccer field, a busy park, a flea market, and they show up every single week until people start expecting them to be there. That consistency is the whole business in the beginning, more than the ice cream itself. Once that one spot is working and paying for itself, they add a second machine and a second spot on the same day, usually run by someone they trust, a sibling, a partner, a close friend. The real money move here is toppings. A plain cone sells for one price. A cone with 3 toppings nobody else offers, think unusual sauces or crushed candy people recognize from childhood, sells for almost double, and that markup is nearly all profit since the base product costs so little. Number 2 is a popcorn cart. Small versions cost between $200 and $800, which makes this one of the cheapest ways to start on this entire list. The popcorn itself costs almost nothing to make. A few cents worth of kernels and oil turns into a bag that sells for several dollars. The easiest way in is calling youth sports leagues and school events directly, because they already have games scheduled all year long and they constantly need a vendor for concessions. Work one full season with one league, take photos, get a few reviews, and use that as proof to reach out to 2 or 3 more leagues in nearby towns. The trick that actually makes real money here is flavor variety. Plain popcorn is something people might buy if they're already hungry. Caramel, spicy, or a birthday cake flavor is something people specifically walk over for, and it photographs well for social media too, which brings in the next customer for free. Number 3 is a churro cart. It costs between $800 and $2,500 for something that can keep up with a real line without slowing down. It works best anywhere people are standing around bored with nothing to do. Youth sports games, night markets, and county fairs. Same idea as before. Parents standing around for an hour waiting for a game to end is basically free money waiting to happen. They're hungry, they're bored, and they have cash on them. The move that makes this a real business instead of a weekend hobby is locking in a full season contract with one league instead of chasing new events every single weekend. Because most leagues would honestly rather keep one dependable vendor than deal with someone new every time. Number 4 is a small coffee machine, built for a stand, not a full coffee shop. It costs between $1,500 and $4,000 depending on how automated it is. Coffee has one of the best profit margins on this entire list, often over 80% once you subtract the beans, water, and the cup itself. Find one spot with people who need coffee fast, outside a hospital, a gym, or a busy office park, and lock in a few hours there each day, even if it's just mornings. Once that's working, add a second time slot somewhere else entirely using the same machine, mornings in one spot, afternoons in another. A simple buy 5 get 1 free card turns occasional buyers into daily regulars almost overnight, because coffee isn't an occasional purchase. It's a habit people build their whole morning around. Number 5, and this one gets overlooked constantly, is a frozen ice pop machine. It costs between $600 and $1,800 and works especially well in hot climates. Texas, Arizona, Florida, anywhere summer lasts most of the year. Start with flavors that already have proven demand: lemon, mango, strawberry, before trying anything experimental. Sell from home or a weekend market first to prove the demand exists at all. Once you have a steady base of buyers, the scaling move is wholesale, offering your pops to small grocery stores and gas stations who resell them with their own markup added on top. The detail that actually raises your price is packaging. Individually wrapped pops with your own simple label sell for noticeably more than something that looks homemade, even when the recipe underneath is exactly the same. We're a few minutes in now, but this is really where things get interesting, because block 2 is where you stop selling at events and start building something that runs while you're at your day job. Number 6 is a small laser engraver. It cuts and burns wood, leather, and acrylic. It costs between $400 and $1,200, and it's become one of the most talked about pieces of equipment in online side hustle communities over the past several years. Start with 5 or 6 simple designs, names, dates, short phrases, and post them in wedding and baby shower groups online, where people always want something personal for a gift. Once orders come in steady, add a second machine and run it at night after your regular job, so you're never turning down an order just because you ran out of hours in the day. Here's the real secret nobody says out loud. You're not selling wood, you're selling someone's exact wedding date. That's why the same basic sign sells for double the price the moment it's personal instead of generic. Number 7 is a UV printer. It prints straight onto solid objects, mugs, phone cases, and hats. It costs more than most items on this list, usually $2,500 to $6,000, but it opens the door to a much wider range of products than fabric printing alone. Start with one product. Mugs are the easiest to learn on, and get really good at that before adding anything else, so you're not managing 5 different types of inventory in your very first month. Once you're steady, local businesses become your best customers. Clinics, gyms, small restaurants, because they order in bulk for staff and promotions, and they come back every single time they run something new. Number 8 is a heat press kit. This is the cheapest way into this whole personalization business, with starting kits costing as little as $80 to $400. Start by making shirts and mugs for friends and family first, both to practice your technique and to build a small catalog of real photos before a stranger is ever your customer. Then reach out to youth sports teams, churches, and school groups, because they always need matching shirts for events and fundraisers, and unlike a one-time customer, they come back every single season without fail. A bulk discount on 10 or more matching shirts is what turns small individual sales into one big order worth your entire weekend. Number 9 is an embroidery machine. It costs between $1,500 and $4,000. Most small businesses genuinely have no idea who to even call to get a logo stitched onto their staff uniforms. They just assume it has to be outsourced somewhere far away. Walk into local mechanic shops, restaurants, and clinics and offer exactly that service. Once you have a few steady clients, offer to embroider every new hire's uniform going forward, and one single sale quietly turns into money every single month without you finding a single new customer. Now block 3, and this is where the machine stops being the product entirely. It becomes just your tool for delivering a service. Number 10 is a pressure washer. It costs between $300 and $900. Start with one discounted job in your own neighborhood, where people already know you and trust builds fast through word of mouth. Turn that one job into a repeat seasonal contract, because driveways, decks, and siding need cleaning again and again, not just the one time. Number 11 is a mobile car detailing kit, a steamer and vacuum combo built to travel in a trunk. It costs between $600 and $1,800. People would honestly rather pay you to come to them than drive somewhere and sit and wait for their car. Start at apartment complexes and office parking lots, where you can realistically clean several cars in a single visit instead of driving all over town. Once you have regulars, offer a flat monthly membership instead of charging per visit, which gives you predictable income instead of chasing new customers every week. Number 12 is a vending machine, and this one barely needs any ongoing work once it's actually set up and running. It costs between $600 and $2,000 for a basic snack or drink unit. The entire business is finding the right spot, not running the machine yourself day to day. Ask small apartment buildings, auto shops, and gyms if you can place one, and split the profit with them in exchange for the space. Once one machine is consistently profitable, the entire playbook is just repeating that exact same conversation in a new building, which is why some people end up with 10 machines scattered around a town and barely touch any of them personally. We're almost at the end, and this next one deserves its own moment because it changes how most people think about this whole category. Number 13 is a mini vending kiosk, built specifically for phone accessories and small electronics, chargers, cases, cables. It costs between $1,000 and $3,000. These do well in places with constant foot traffic and constant phone problems, airports, malls, and busy transit stations. The way in is the same placement conversation as before, except the margin per item tends to be even higher, because a cracked charging cable at 2 in the morning is something people will pay almost anything for. And now, the last one. The one I told you to remember from the very beginning. It's a claw machine. I know exactly how that sounds, but hear me out completely before you decide. A good one costs between $800 and $2,000. There are no ingredients to buy. There's no daily restocking beyond occasionally refilling prizes. There's no supervision needed at all once it's placed and plugged in. The whole business is the exact same pitch as the vending machine. Laundromats, barbershops, small restaurants split the profit with the owner in exchange for the space. But the payout percentage is controlled entirely by you, so the margins are frequently better than almost anything else on this list. The people actually making real money from this don't own just one. They own 5 or 6 scattered around the same town, and they check on them once a week to refill prizes and collect the coins, which is about as close as this entire list gets to money genuinely making itself while you're doing something completely different with your day. None of these 14 are a guaranteed win, and every single one still requires you to actually make the first call, find the first spot, and do the unglamorous work of proving it out before anything scales. But the pattern across all 14 is exactly the same. A small upfront cost, a product or service people already want without being convinced, and a clear path to grow it, without you standing there forever running it yourself. If this kind of breakdown is useful, the next video goes deeper into exactly how to walk into a business and negotiate a placement split the right way. Because that one conversation is what actually separates the people making real money from these machines from the people who buy one and let it sit unused in a garage.